I think what we see is, and the key part of my talk was how we all are listening for the signal in the noise. What's happening with second screen? Unlike television that's been around for decades, second screen is a whole new area, rapidly evolving. And so we look at little nuggets of information when we see something in the news. Twitter launches a new API, or Twitter buys Trend, or Facebook launches something, or Aereo launches streaming and is sued by broadcasters. What does it all mean? Will second screen take off? Is it going away? Is it going to morph? And so my talk was all about listening carefully to these very small signals and trying to put sense into it and try and paint a picture of an industry evolving. And let me try and do that in sort of 3 minutes or less instead of 40 minutes. And that is that once upon a time, broadcasters made television, and people watched television at home on their couch. And millions of people watched, but they couldn't talk to each other. They watched alone. And broadcasters made shows that had no audience feedback. And then came the second screen, and smart tech companies made these cool apps that connected people together and brought them additional information on the show and could act as a guide and so on. But you couldn't talk back into the show. Broadcasters didn't recognize it. And maybe the word second screen made metaphorical sense. It was divorced from the show itself. And I believe we're now entering the next period, which is broadcasters who took a little longer to get there than the tech guys who ship in 2 weeks. Broadcasters have annual production runs and think in the future and so on. Broadcasters are now using the output of these play-along experiences and social and are beginning to put them overlaid on the TV. And in the months to come, and next year, you're going to see an explosion of TV shows with broadcast graphics overlaid, but instead of the animated graphics, they'll have real-time audience feedback. Thanks to Facebook's new API, it'll have people's Facebook posts, and thanks to Twitter's acquisitions, we'll have tweets, but it'll also have votes and polls and play-alongs and all sorts of things. And I think this is the third stage of the industry, which is the broadcasters take the audience participation, which used to happen only on the second screen. The second screen evolves into the screen where you're playing along. It's the touch screen, but the output of everyone's play along is fed back into the TV signal. But that's not nirvana yet. And the reason is that the program itself is probably the same program that was being made for years, but now with an interactive feedback layer stuck on top of it. What you really want is the next frontier, which is program makers create new classes, new genres of shows that are designed to have audience built in rather than just overlaid. And I see signs now of broadcasters, often in Europe, creating very exciting, cool new formats that they're going to pitch to broadcasters with new revenue models because it's interactive and personalized and targetable and so on, that really require, it's not an afterthought, but really require the audience participation. So the trends we're going to see, in my view, apart from higher pixel TVs, but reality is it's going to be years till you really update your TV. It's all going to be about apps and websites that you get to in seconds. What's going to happen is shows will have the experiences that you're playing along now integrated into the show. Broadcasters will have end-to-end graphics production systems where they can dial up these votes and polls in seconds with a few clicks instead of being hours of broadcast engineers in studios trying to hook up all the pieces together. And that, the productizing of these on-screen, second-screen propositions will change the way that broadcasters engage. And for me, I'd like to lose the term second screen. It's not about the screen, it's about the TV show. I'd like to call it participation TV. Of course, participation is one of several pieces. There's a program guide, there's remote control, there's social. But in terms of engagement with the show itself, I'd like to call it participation TV. And I think starting in a few months' time, it's here, and it's here in a big way.